Hi, this short math review video is about converting decimals to fractions and fractions to decimals, and it also covers decimal place value. It's things we've done before in school, but it's really important that you master that in 5th grade. So this will again review the things you've learned. So we're going to take a look at this chart for a second. We can see that the first place after the decimal is called the tenths place. Then we have the hundredths and the thousandths place. So when we convert a decimal like this, well, first we're going to read it. When we read a decimal like this, we see after the point, we see a 4. So it's 4 something. We see it's in the second place over, which would be the hundredths place. So we call it 4 hundredths. And of course, if we were to write it as a fraction, we would write 4 100ths. Our second one is 3 and 18 hundredths. The reason we know it's hundredths is because it's 2 places after the decimal, and 2 places after the decimal is hundredths. To write it as a fraction, we would say 3 and 18 hundredths. Our next one is 0, and remember we always say and for our decimal point. 0 and 3 tenths because it's in the first place after the decimal. So we can just simply write 3 tenths. Here we have 2 and 4 something. 2 and 4. We have to figure out what place the 4 is in. Notice it's 3 places after the decimal. 3 places after the decimal would be thousandths. So we would say 2 and 4 thousandths. The last one is 6 and 16 something. 6 and 16. We have to figure out what place value that one is. We see it's 3 digits after the decimal, which would make it thousandths. 3 and 16 thousandths. We also need to be able to go from fractions to decimals. So let's erase this and let's do a couple of those practice ones. Let's say we wanted to convert, say 2 and 3 hundredths, and we wanted to write that as a decimal. Well, if we did, we would write 2 for our whole number, then we put our decimal to indicate we're going to the fraction part of it. 3 hundredths. Notice that hundredths is in the second place. I see 2 zeros in hundred. That also reminds me that there need to be 2 places. If I were to put a 3 here, I'd have to fill that place with a 0, and that would give me 30 hundredths. That's not what we want. We want 3 hundredths. So we're going to put the 3 in the hundredths place and put the 0 there. Let's say we were looking at this fraction, 3 and 27 thousandths. In this case, we would put a 3 first. We would put a decimal mark to indicate we've gone to the fraction part. 27 thousandths. I see 3 zeros in 1,000. Thousandths place is the third one. I know I need to fill in 3 blanks. I only have 2 numbers. Always start from the back. So we would have 7, 2. There's our 27. We'll put our 0 there. 3 and 27 thousandths. If we had written it this way, if we had put the 27 here and filled in a 0 there, we would have 270 thousandths, and that's not what the problem said. The problem said only 27. So we have to be very careful with that. Let's do one last one. Let's do 4 and 2 1,000ths. We would have 4 for our whole number. We put the decimal to indicate we're going to the fractions. We're in thousands place. I see 3 zeros. We're going to have 3 places we fill in. And we only need 2 thousandths. So our last place is going to be the 2. We'll fill in the others with zeros. 4 and 2 thousandths. Remember, if you had written it this way, 4.200, you would have 200 thousandths, not 2 thousandths. You have to be very careful. Look at your problem after you write it. Make sure that what you see is what was written here.